Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. Right then, as we carry on this marathon, which doesn't feel like one at the moment because still fresh on the third movie, Arcadian. Right, so basically, this is telling the story of a father with his twin teenage sons fight to survive in a remote farmhouse at the end of the world. Right, this is. I was going to say it was some Nicolas Cage goodness, but it's actually quite a restrained performance from him. So essentially, Nicolas Cage plays Paul. We see him at the beginning as essentially the civilized world's going to rat shit. We don't know why. He's sort of run between alleyways and stuff, and you can hear gunfire and whatever going on in the background. He's got a backpack and he's sort of sprinting. We see that he's making his way through. We're sort of getting glimpses, and we're seeing like I said, gunshots and stuff. So we know something's going down. We just don't know what. He makes his way to like an outbuilding, and we hear babies crying, and we see him essentially picking up these two babies in the mattress, and he's picking them up, saying it's okay. So we're guessing he's a father. He's went to gather supplies, or something's happened anyway. But the movie then skips 15 years later. We see him making his life. They've got a farmhouse. The two boys are obviously teenagers now. And you're just getting a snapshot into like, okay, they're isolated enough. They're not like in a city or something. They're trying to make a life for themselves. We know there's a danger because they're always vigilant, and they're just thinking about when it gets dark. I'm gonna see sort of Paul's character waiting as the suns go down. He's getting more frantic, and then his one of his sons pops over the hill running. We find out this one's Thomas. We don't get any context yet, but essentially he's like freaking out. Right, you need to be here before the end of the dark, or else you get locked out, sort of thing. So that's fine. And then we see them going through the routine of them bolting up the house, shutters. They've all got their roles. We'll see a bit of banter between the two brothers, and they're getting it all done. And then it's dinner time. And this is where we start to realize there's tension between the two brothers because they just can't leave each other alone, bickering at each other. So what we've got is Thomas is sort of the willful one, and Thomas is the more retrospective, quiet, sort of loyal. You know, Thomas wants to go and do his own thing. So we discover that he goes every day to the Rose farm. So there's a farm, you know, like a settlement, basically within running distance, and he's been going there every day instead of actually being it. You know, he's shirking his chores. He's not mucking out in the house. He's basically being a bratty teenager. Where Joseph is thoughtful, studious. You know, he's trying to basically figure out what the hell happened in the world, and we sort of see that he's built himself like a little office sort of thing in an outbuilding, and there are drawings and all sorts of things. You know, he's trying to build like an ATV. You know, get it back and running again. He's that sort of type. We now start to find out that it was some sort of an attack. So it was an external attack, but we don't know the source of it. And we're sort of getting that in. And there's a scene during the night where something's trying to effectively get into the house, and you can kind of hear it scratching. And the next morning, the door's all scratched. So we know it's not a human creature. Sort of, leaves claw marks. So we know we're dealing with some sort of monster or alien or mutation or something like that. Anyway, we don't know yet. That's kind of the whole point of the movie. It's hiding the reveal to later on. It's things progress. You go get the ATV working. They're going out to scavenge. So busy every day. They have to go out and scavenge and pick up stuff to try and bolster their lives. They've obviously got some sort of system in place, so they're living, if that makes sense. So they're not surviving day to day, but they're living a hard lifestyle, but they've managed to make what they can. We then get Thomas running off again. So he just can't focus. He's like, no, I've got to go. And he leaves his brother to carry on the sort of scavenging task. We'll understand then why, but kind of obvious, really. Teenage boy. He's going to the rose farm is because there's a girl there same age as him, Charlotte, and he's all googly eyed for her. On the initial look, the rose farm looks as if it's like normal, well tamed. They've got sheep, they've got staff, they've got security at the gate. You've still got that tension because there's somebody always permanently at front guard at the gate. Waves them in, they know Thomas. Oh, you're back again to help do this. So he's been helping so he can basically get to talk to Charlotte. So we can kind of understand what's happening. Teenage boy, hormones, the usual willful type, you can see the different types of personality. He's going, and then he's under the impression this is sort of idyllic lifestyle, if that makes sense. We kind of know where this is going. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a horror movie. Nothing's going to stay like this forever. Any one of these type of movies, it's the same as a zombie movie. You know that there's going to be a chink in the fence, something's going to happen. So needless to say, we'll get all this. Him and Charlotte play a game of trying to explain what happened in the world in 10 seconds. And I think it's more exposition for the audience. So they both play a game that, they both got different ideas of what happened. So what that tells us as the audience is nobody actually knows. We don't know how this thing came to be. And it's one of them things, if the longer it goes on, obviously it'll go into myths and legend. But we do know there's a threat. We do know it comes after dark. And we do know that everyone's sort of mindful and terrified, but it seems to be at the Rose Farm, they're a bit more complacent because of stability. It's that old, was it complicity? Just the stability creates complicity. So there's no immediate threat of danger, so they're kind of relaxed. Joseph, they're the same where, like I said, but there are things trying to get in. He's like, Thomas is admonishing him for not helping. He's like, well, how many times did I try? Did you count? No, well, I did. So Thomas is a technician. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He's essentially, right, why are they attacking? How long do they attack for? What are the frequency of the attacks? And he's sitting jotting all this down, trying to figure it out. The whole crux of the story comes, Thomas is essentially running late back and he slips and he falls. So he doesn't make it back to the farm in time. So this is where the father, obviously Paul, he's like, he doesn't actually come back. He tells Joseph to lock up the house on his own. He's going to go out. So he goes out with the dog to essentially try and find his other son. And that's where things kind of kick off because Joseph's fallen basically down a cave system. And then I think is where we'll get the first proper look at these things sort of through, because he's got a flint and a, sort of flare thing. So we're only seeing them briefly. Like, fair enough. So we know they're subterranean. We know they come up at night. We know they live in the caves. We know that they attack humans. While Paul tries to rescue him, he finds him, tries to rescue him, they reveal a tactic that they're digging underneath. So they've been trying ground level assaults, and then basically what they do is they bury them in the cave, they cut off the entrance, and then they start digging up from underneath. To save his son, effectively, Paul blows himself up, and this is where things all ramp up then. So Paul blows himself up to try and save his son, and then this is where the wheels come off. Which, like any of these movies, you can expect this. There's nothing new to the formula here. The only thing is that the characterization is decent. It's decent acting. The CGI for the creatures is a wee bit ropey. I think that's why they're not used as often, and there's a wee bit of hamminess towards the end with them. But all in all, decent enough. You've got the atmosphere. You've got what life looks like outside. Then we'll have Paul who's injured, and they try to go back, basically get him the next day. That he's badly burned. They know they need medicine. Thomas says, "Oh, the rose, basically, rose tinted glasses. Oh, the rose farm's perfect. They'll help us." When Thomas is a bit more, or sorry, Joseph's a bit more savvy about it. They go to try and basically say, "No, don't have enough." But Thomas can stay, so what's happening there. He's a young fit lad. They're thinking practically, oh, here's someone who can do jobs and be a team member, but you can bugger off, with no medicine to spare, etc. And then that really drives a wedge between the brothers. But obviously, Joseph feels guilty and they try to. Charlotte gives him some of the medicine to take with him. I don't understand why she gave him the whole bottle though. Like, if they don't have it to spare, surely some of it, enough to do. But then again, it's sort of plot device. But this will find out that the guards, and there's a whole team of them, aren't as nice as you think. They're hard hands. It's one of those practical things, where people come together who don't necessarily have anything coming. So the lead guard catches him. He overhears him talking to Charlotte, getting the medicine, and then he stops him at the gate, But instead of leading him back to the house, he leads him to the barn where the other ones are, and effectively, oh, this is what I was getting replaced with. So he's looking after himself. Oh, younger, fitter lad, I'm going to get put out. Yeah, and gnarly things are about to happen, and that's where basically shit hits the fan. The attack happens, which is coming. I'm not really spoiling it. So everything plays out how it plays. I'll not go into every plot detail, but effectively the Rose house gets overrun. Then they have to go back to try and see if Paul come up with a plan to try and get through the night, basically. And things play out as they play out. But the whole characterization is, like, even Charlotte, she's a decent enough character. She has her moments, but she's not a girl boss or anything. She's actually a decent character. They all use their strengths and weaknesses to get through what they get through, and then the aftermath they deal with in the morning and how they move forward. Because obviously after this, everything's changed because the creatures have adapted. They're intelligent. They think there was a stalemate for a while. They're figuring a way to go through it, so they're determined. Now it's okay, what's the next iteration of this? And then they move forward. So all in all, yeah, decent enough flick. Nothing out of the ordinary. It is what it is. Like I said, Nicolas Cage gives a more restrained performance in this, which shows he has a bit of range, so he's not just doing the overacting thing. We're getting a bit of a subtlety to him, which is cool. And he doesn't take the lead in the entire movie. He plays his part, but at the end of the day, it's more about the brothers. That's what the movie focuses on. Even Charlotte and the Rose Farm and those guys, they're sort of subservience. It's all about how the two brothers are basically coming into adulthood and dealing with this world that they've been thrust into, because they were babies when this all took place, so they know nothing else. And then how they deal with external forces coming between them, and then what's important. So in all, I enjoyed it. Decent flick, worth watching. And yeah, we recommend you check it out. So, right, what's next? Next we have, let's have a look. Oh God, Blood Rain 2. I forgot to delete this before I decided to. I forgot to take this off my watch list. If you've seen my Blood Rain review, the Blood Rain 1 review, I was not wanting to check this out. I think I got 10 minutes into it and cringed. So, yeah, we're going to do that next. So that's going to be funny. What is this? Good movie, crap movie, good movie, crap movie sort of thing. But we'll see how it goes. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. And it just leaves me to say, keep up the channel, do the technical things. Until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.